All right, welcome back. It's still Business Insight and Plus TV Africa. Nathaniel Lutz now joins me to look at all of the recent development in the cryptoverse. Good morning to you, Nas. Thanks for joining us on Business Insights. Hello, Nas, can you hear me? Okay, Nas, if you can hear me, can you unmute your devices so we can get a wonderful conversation? Nas, can you hear me? All right, we'll try and connect with NASA. We seem to be having some challenges connecting to him, but we're looking at Binance regulatory precedent in Nigeria, and over time there have been recent development right now. So if we can get back to Nas, can you hear us right now?
You are muted.
All right, let's talk about Binance's regulatory precedent in Nigeria. With the planned P2P ban, does it mean that P2P crypto trading will not really exist again in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you so much for having me on the show today. It's a privilege to come live again. So, first off, I think that we are blowing the matter out of proportion. You understand? So, let's let's look at the Nigerian banking sector line in line with the crypto sector, right? ATMs, where we go to withdraw money from with our ATM cards, ATMs have been in existence for 57 years globally, and they've been in Nigeria for 35 years. Now, there are regulations as to the installation and usage of ATM machines. You can't just operate any ATM machine outside of those regulations. But look at crypto. Crypto is just 15 years old globally. Every government in the world is still trying to figure out what kind of regulations would work best. Of course, some governments are ahead of some, that is expected. I think what we're seeing here is the Nigerian government and the crypto industry trying to reach a middle ground as to what would be the regulations for this industry. So what the government is saying is, we have released a set of licenses. Until you buy that license, stop operating. That's what the government is saying. And that's actually the logical thing to do. Do you understand? So I don't think that there's any cause for alarm. You understand? But what we now need to get clear is we need the government to clearly state that crypto itself is not a problem in Nigeria, right? Is it possible that people are abusing it? It's affecting the naira rate. Every technology gets abused. Fire runs a car. If you don't control fire properly, it could become a disaster. You understand what I mean? So anything can be abused if it's not well used, if it's not used within the parameters of the regulations that are set out for it. You understand? So what we now need to do is find that balance that does not hamper innovation and that also doesn't lead to the misuse of the crypto technology.
Let me still take you up from where you just stopped, finding that balance. How do you find the balance? Because Nigerians are really, really involved, are invested in cryptocurrency. They're amongst the top four in Africa as it is right now. Now, see, today we'll get encouragement from the Securities and Exchange Commission that crypto, is actually going to gain momentum. Then the next day we hear of issues like P2P being stopped in Nigeria, crypto, affecting the local currency. And right now, even the SEC acting DG is calling for name shaming of crypto manipulators. How do we find a middle ground in all of this?
So generally, it is a duty of the SEC to regulate the crypto space, right? But now the CBN is also an interested party because the CBN is saying, see, this people's crypto thing is affecting the value of the naira. And my job as the CBN is to defend the value of the naira. So the CBN also gets interested. What I think is the way forward is allow us to get the SEC licenses. Then if the CBN, if any other government agency has any issues, they can now discuss, they can even have a physical meeting. They can now meet with the people who have gotten these licenses, right? And the licenses are not cheap. From our estimation, it's going to cost around 500K USD getting this license. So now a lot of people are saying, why should I stake this kind of amount to get this license if I can still wake up tomorrow to hear that crypto is banned in Nigeria? You see the problem now. So what I would have expected is the balance is simple. Put out your license, allow people get the license. Then the people that get the license, they are authorized to operate. Then if you have any issues, you can discuss with them, right? Talking of the dollar to naira thing, there are usually a couple of challenges also, even with traditional banks. But the CBN doesn't call a press statement to address that. They sent for the representatives of those banks. They reach out to them directly because those banks are registered, those guys are licensed, those guys are directly accountable. You understand?
Hmm.
So allow people register with you first, then you can now discuss with those people. You understand? Allow the road to be open, then anybody you see in the bush is a suspect. But if you are blocking the road, then we can't tell with the person in the bush, we can't tell if the person is a suspect or not. Will crypto transactions will continue to happen, whether you ban, unban, reban, disband, you understand? It would always happen. So what is the way forward? License the companies. Some companies might not be able to get the license alone. We might see some mergers and all of that, but that's normal. Even in banking, we see that. Absoluto did that. Cardoso is doing that again, the whole bank and recapitalization thing. So that's even healthy for an industry. You see mergers and acquisitions, partnerships, and all of that. But the first thing is this: you need to state clearly where you stand. We cannot be hearing the SEC saying, come and pay for my license, and the CBN is saying, if I catch all of you, I will arrest you. So we are saying, what if on the way to the license they catch us? So those are the issues right now.
Okay, fine. Now, the Security and Exchange Commission just about 2 days ago talked about aggressive, rules that will actually bring a bit of sanity into the system. I'm thinking that it's not just going to be some unilateral decision. Over time, have there been discussions with key players involved in the cryptoverse in Nigeria with the Security and Exchange Commission and the regulators generally? Because right now, I think in all of this, the government is just trying to ensure that Naira has its main power as it should be, and of course, this issue of illegal tradings and all of the unscrupulous activities would be, stem in the bud.
Yes, I must say well done to the SEC. The SEC has actually been a very cooperating body, even from the previous administration up to this. Mr. Timi Agama and his guys, like they've really been a cooperating body, right? What I just think is that we are hearing two people speak to us, so we don't know who to listen to first. So the SEC is saying, you guys get a license. If you don't get this license, you are illegal. Anybody without this license is doing illegal trading, which we will not allow. But the CBN seems to be saying there's a total ban. So that's where the confusion is, right? That's where the confusion is. But yes, so now what the SEC is trying to do is, yeah, we had a meeting on Monday where he spoke, the DG spoke and addressed us and asked questions. And so we are in active communication with the SEC to try to find that balance point. But again, I don't want the public to see this like, oh, this is cause for alarm. This is necessary chaos. Every industry passed through this, banks passed through this. Any sector in Nigeria passed through this process, whereby, I mean, I'm not talking of crypto itself that is new. The whole crypto thing did not exist 20 years ago. There was no Bitcoin, even 16 years ago, So this is everybody just trying to say, how best do we balance this new innovation? So that's it.
Okay, I still need to understand. So, for people who just might be interested in understanding this illegal trading, as we try, if we can just break it down, for us, maybe in late term, because I remember sometime in 2022 when there was this ban by the CBN of on crypto assets. Young Nigerians actually defied the ban and were gambling on risky assets. So, when we talk about illegal trading, what does this really mean?
Okay, so what the SEC is trying to say is we have a license out for crypto trading platforms, right? So if you're into that and you don't get the license, what the trading you are doing is illegal. That's what the SEC is trying to say. That anybody who is a crypto exchanger, all crypto exchanges should go and get the license. That anybody who doesn't get the license but continues to trade, it's just like saying the way we have BDCs and the change guys that, oh, these BD change guys, they all have a license, you understand? Just like saying if Nathaniel starts a BDC tomorrow without license, what Nathaniel is doing is illegal trading. So that's what the SEC is trying to say, that see, everybody get the license. Let's know those that are with us and those that are against us, in quotes.
Okay, let's to go back to the issue of Binance now because it is still in the news. I know what kind of precedents have we actually, established in all of this and the lessons to be learned. I know we had mentioned that in a previous discussion, but right now there are accusations and counter accusation. So to ensure sanity in the future, with maybe international collaborators, as it were, what precedent should we be setting from all of this Binance saga?
So the Binance saga, in my opinion, is not something that's been well handled. But again, it was something that Binance is not having issues only in Nigeria. They're having it worse in the US. I mean, in the US, they've just been fined, in fact, and they just agreed to a $4 billion fine plus 4 months in prison for the founder of Binance, right? So it's not like, we need to create a balance. It's not like Binance was doing something wrong. I need to clear that. So when new innovations come up, regulations would come and meet those innovations. It's innovations first before regulations. Do you understand? For instance, if we look at something like Starlink that gives us unlimited internet and all of that globally, that's a new innovation. It's going to take a while to have adequate regulations around such fields. Do you understand? So what Binance did was to go forward and be the foremost crypto exchange, breaking ground and all of that. So there is no way you would be number one crypto exchange in multiple countries that you won't run afoul of a couple of financial laws and all those things, especially when the laws are still, I mean, when countries are even still yet to bring out what is a license. The Nigerian license was just released less than 6 months ago, right? Just about 6 months ago. So last year, this time last year, there was no way to apply for a crypto exchange license. So there's no way you won't run afoul. When the goose finally came, you say, "Okay, for the last 4 years, you've been going afoul." You say, but the goose just came. Again, it's one of the things you see in this chaotic space. What I think we should be talking about is the way forward. And what I think is the way forward is a sit down between both parties. Right now, it's a case of two elephants fighting, right? And both parties just need to sit down and iron it out and see what is the way forward from this point. That's all we just care about right now.
Okay, so for many Nigerians asking right now, because people still believe in crypto and Bitcoin, Binance, and all of that, but what is the soft landing, for instance, and what should investors be looking at or be hoping for? Should they be keeping their monies away? What should they be doing as of today?
I think this is pure chaos, in my opinion. But I also think that what happens during period of chaos is a wealth transfer, right? It's fine for people to feel, oh, I'm staying out of this industry because we don't even know what's going on. But the people where everything would stabilize, will have regulations.
How
The whole
soon can
Binance
it stabilize?
law.
How soon are we looking at?
I'm not the SEC chair, I'm not the CBN governor, I'm not the president of the
Okay.
Federal Republic of Nigeria. But one thing we know is that everything would be steady. Do you understand? See, banks had it rougher than we are currently having it.
Hmm.
Do you understand? I mean, Nigerian banks had it rougher than we're currently having it. So everything is finally going to stabilize and we are going to have winners. And the winners are going to be people who stay through all of this fire. You understand? It's a whole lot, even for us that are startup founders in the industry. You're trying to raise funds, you're trying to employ people, and it's looking like the future of this thing in this country is not really that clear. It's a whole lot. But one thing I keep telling my team is, see, there will be winners at the end of this thing. Do you understand? So do you want to build all through the chaos and become a champion at the end? So that's what I think people should be doing at this juncture.
Okay, so I'm going to crave your indulgence and give some free financial advice as it is right now. You are involved in startups and everything. Now, for someone who is a bit anxious about what's going on in the cryptoverse and they are like, what do I do with my funds? What do I invest in right now? I know fintech, some people are still complaining, here and there. So what should investors, what sector, what area should investors really be playing right now?
I think investors generally should be playing in the areas that have more chaos.
Mm.
The more trouble you see in a place, the more you should be putting your feet into those waters, right? While Nigeria can have a pretty much chaotic regulatory stuff, it's also the reason why, to be honest, it's easier to start a business in Nigeria than in other parts of the world.
Mm.
It's easier to start. I didn't say it's easier to run a business. It's two different things. Do you understand? But if you really want to just start something, just want to take a risk, this is the best place. Not necessarily the best place to run one, but the best place to start. So I wouldn't say to people, I mean, it's chaos. It's going to come. It's going to go. Do you understand? But the most important thing is that Nigeria is the largest black nation on earth. Nigeria is the country that uses crypto most. I'll tell you a stat, I'm just going to shock you. 80% of crypto transactions in Africa are retail. 80% of crypto transactions in Africa are retail. 70% of every crypto transaction less than $1,000 lands in Africa. Do you understand? So, and that shows you the sheer volume of this. Now, imagine what this is going to be in 10 years.
All right.
In 20 years. Okay. So it's about looking at the big picture.
The big
You
picture.
understand? So once in a while, we just have to zoom out of all of these small issues and look at the big picture.
All right.
Is there a future in this thing? You
All right.
understand? So that's what I.
All right, Nathaniel, we have to go for the sake of time. But then it actually has been a very interesting discussion, clearing all gray areas so Nigerians can actually know what the true picture is and then know, what areas to play. I have been speaking with Nathaniel Luz, as the CEO and co-founder of FlynnCap, and we have been looking at cryptocurrency as the nation eyes aggressive rules against illegal trading. Thank you so much, Nathaniel, for being a part of Business Insights for today.
Thank you so much, JM Plus TV Africa. It's always a pleasure.
All right, and that's the size of the show for today. Let's keep it a date next time. My name is Justin Akadonye. Many thanks for watching.
I love to dance. My dream is to be impactful to humanity, and dance is connecting me to that dream. So I don't see dancing as just movement of the body. I see dancing as an amazingly powerful tool. Dance is the oldest form of communication. Before we are able to speak, we move first. Dance can speak to us, dance can nurture us, dance can empower us, dance can make us fit and healthy, dance can make us happy, dance can reduce stress level, depression rates, dance can stop you from even committing suicide because it's an art form of expression. And when you get to express, you are able to live. When I look at dance, it's just a cloak I can wear to connect to humanity, to be a better person. Like some people ask me, so if you know the dance, what you want to do? I go do dance again. And I come from the family that only celebrates children because mommy is lawyer. We are like stifled in that pressure of what our family dictates that success is. And for me, you don't do that to a cafe. Don't say I can't be great as a shoemaker. I will prove to you that shoemaker, and in fact, I'm going to make shoe for Queen of England. I read book well. I love book well. And I dey pass. So it's not a second class option for me. So being great at it doesn't mean I'm the best at it, but I'll do the best with what I have, with what I know. So there has been a lot of trial and error, but there was more of trials that worked than errors that didn't. And most of my errors were things that I used to kind of like educate myself on what not to do next. I dance and people are happy because I dance with you and you are happy. So if you don't understand that it's a product, it's different. If you don't understand that it can be a service, it's different. It's up to me to make you understand that this thing you need it to. Money should never be your motivation because it hinders aspiration. It does. I see money as something that I can control. I want you, I get you. Who you are can make you make you be anybody that you want to be. Every individual determines their own ceiling. Now, I hate it when some people use me as their ceiling. I want to be better than Kafi. That's why you are not getting to where Kafi is. If I can dance better than her, I am better than her. Our African system doesn't like to learn from one another. We feel learning from each other belittles us. If I go somewhere now to go and learn from a younger dancer, the way he will carry it for head, the way he will talk about me in a very dishonorable manner, is what to make somebody that knows so much not want to go and learn from a younger person. I always want to impact. I don't like to see the bad in people. I always want to see the good in you. And the good in you, for me, translates as what God put in you. That is not you.
I have not come across a blind person who have become sighted. Unfortunately, I've come across too many sighted people who have become blind.
I stood for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes, was like, a blind individual writing like this. Even a typical human being cannot do most of what he is doing.
They are pushed aside. They look them as perpetual beggars. And it's not supposed to be. Some of us, we are learned. We don't need pity. We need opportunities. We need encouragement.
A February 2021 report by the World Health Organization says that globally, 2.2 billion people have a visual impairment. Of that number, 64 million people suffer from glaucoma, the leading cause of irreversible blindness in the world. It is projected that by the year 2030, 95.4 million people would suffer from the disease. Being a black person is a risk factor. At Ikeja Junior High School, Lagos, Nigeria, there are 55 steps from one end of the hallway to the other. There are 18 steps down the stairwell and 15 steps between classes. Cyril Ojime counted them all because he needed the figures as well as his white cane to find his way around work.
It's more than the cost price.
Cyril is a 48-year-old visually impaired mathematician. He teaches math here to students with and without hearing disabilities in junior secondary classes 1 to 3. This situation presents a peculiar communication challenge.
Imagine they will do sign language, I cannot see what they are signing. I will talk, they cannot hear what I'm saying. So if they want to talk, I cannot even hear them. They will make noise with it. And it has really been a very difficult situation. How are you today? Fine, fine. I had to learn a little bit of sign language, and that gladdened their heart. They love seeing me making that effort to communicate with them. Unfortunately, they feel, because I cannot see them back, they feel saddened about it, that I'm not seeing them sign back to me, communicating with me in their own way.
Here's where 30-year-old Tawalkat Babatunde comes in.
Take note, it's over the cost price, not the selling price.
She's a sign language specialist at the school. She works with Cyril to coordinate and communicate math lessons to the class.
I'll make sure the class is being arranged. Okay, keep quiet, watch what he's saying, explain. When he's explaining, I'll demonstrate. You do give them classwork and homework. I'll mark it, distribute it to the students. Honestly, the first day we worked together, I stood at just for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes, was like, a blind individual writing like this. Even a typical human being cannot do most of what he is doing. So I was amazed.
Cyril Ojime is a 1996 graduate of Pure and Applied Mathematics from the University of Ilorin, Kwara State. He's also an award-winning math and further math teacher with experience spanning 11 different schools in 5 states across Nigeria since 1999. Cyril recalls a childhood experience that motivated him to take up teaching as a career.
I used to have a math teacher. He would just put some problems on the board and I would just be smiling. We would not be able to solve it. So in my mind, I said, I want to be a teacher whereby I will make math to look simpler than what this man is doing.
That resolve made in the early 80s still nudges him to demystify math for children today. However, in 2012, Cyril was diagnosed with glaucoma. This almost puts paid to his life ambition of teaching math.
When I first of all found out 2012, it was like a shock to me. Because as then, in my family, the extended family, we only know for maybe eye issues such as myopia or long distance issue. Then maybe at worst cataracts, but nothing like glaucoma. So it was a surprise to me. And when it started, it was as if it was an insect in my eye that was blurring my vision. So when I was told it was glaucoma, I went to Google it to read more about it. When I learned it was white blindness, I got a bit scared at first. But I said, okay, let me see what can be done.
Dr. Adiola Onokoya is a professor of ophthalmology at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH. She throws some light on Cyril's condition.
Glaucoma is the commonest cause of irreversible blindness. It's a disease of the nerve of the eye. That nerve is like a cable that connects the eyeball to the brain. In glaucoma, what happens is there's some damage, inside the eyeball where you have those nerves originating from that we call the optic nerve. They are damaged. And what damages them? Well, it's either there isn't enough blood flowing into them, or because there's a lot of pressure inside the eye. And once those cells in the eye die, even the eye is opened, is looking at whatever object, but there is no connection. There's a disconnect between what the eye sees and the brain. So the eye looks normal, but no image processing is taking place.
What causes glaucoma and how can it be treated?
Nobody knows the cause. And if the cause of a disease is not known, then there's no cure. It's commoner in blacks than in the Caucasian. There's just an inherent, risk for us to develop glaucoma, being blacks. And then if you have a family history, because genetics is at the basis of glaucoma, really. And then if that pressure is high, that's eye pressure, intraocular pressure, if it's high. And then people who have severe hypertension, people who have very low blood pressure, even people who are using low blood pressure medication, but they are overusing it. Management of the glaucoma, we can give eye drops. And if the eye drops are not working well, then you may have to go to surgery. It's a lifelong disease. But suffice is to say that once you have lost vision from glaucoma, it is not recovered.
Cyril was in the prime of his career when glaucoma struck. He was deputy head of the math department, mathematics coordinator, and was vying to be head of senior school before he began to have challenges with his vision. The new reality devastated him. He began to struggle with tasks that were once easy.
Then, to be moving around, it was difficult for me. There are times I would just miss my way when going to the class. I would not really know the right class that I'm going to until I therefore come back and count my steps again. Some of my colleagues will be assisting me in typing, to be marking that I'm going through a phase. And I thank God for my colleagues then who rallied around me to see that I was not failing. Being a private institution, you are not looking at whether you are going through a phase or whether you are going through a medical situation. There was for you to be effective, no matter what it takes. Be effective. Don't go down. Don't relent in your effort. So I was trying to meet up.
He sought medical help in 2012. However, the doctor's strike paralyzed healthcare services for 6 months. In that time, his eyesight worsened.
For 6 months, when they were on strike, I could not get medical attention, and that was when the eyes deteriorated. Thereafter, when they called back the strike, it was a bit late. The pressure in the eyes became very high and uncontrollable. Despite eye drops and medication, it just skyrocketed. If the doctors were on ground, I would have been able to get the proper medical attention on time. I would be able to at least know the right eye drops to take to preserve the vision. And I'll be able to at least, if it was not becoming better, at least the doctors would have been able to refer me to LUTH or even to another institution entirely for me to get proper attention.
Indeed, the lack of a reliable healthcare system in Nigeria does jeopardize the health of citizens. Additionally, glaucoma does not show symptoms. Therefore, Cyril only began to have signs of visual impairment in the advanced stages of the disease.
We usually advise that we should get our eyes tested regularly. Once you are above the age of 35, you should make it a point of duty to get your eyes examined once in 2 years. But if you have a family member who suffers from glaucoma, or you have a family member who is blind, you don't know why, you should check your eyes for glaucoma. So regular eye examination is the way to detect it at a very early stage. And once it is detected, treatment is started, and we can then slow down that rate of progression.
As Cyril's eyesight was deteriorating, his work at Olashere Grammar School in Osun State was failing. In March 2015, he made a decision he never imagined he would take in his early 30s. Cyril Ojemen resigned.
I had to meet the HOD, my supervisor, that look, I cannot continue like this, that I don't want to be a burden to the students, members of staff, and especially my immediate colleagues. It's best for me to quit while the ovation was still loud.
Nothing prepared him for the challenges ahead. He was about to face trying times due to a deteriorating vision and a lack of steady income.
2016 to 2018, I will call those 2 years the worst period of my life. Number one, I stopped going out. 2, feeding myself, my family became difficult. 3, paying for children's school fees stopped. After exhausting my gratuity, nothing was coming in, a lot of expenditure came in, no income. So everything was just dry. And I felt for my children because it was something they never expected, never wanted to experience. My wife did all she could to support, but it was all to no avail. She became more or less like a beggar, asking people around for assistance. Myself, I started calling people, calling my brothers, calling those that I know, those who I don't know, to see what they can do to help me out. I got almost to a stage of depression, but my wife and my children, they stood by me, they encouraged me that it's not over.
Just when the nights got darkest, some lights shone through. Cyril got to know of the Federal Nigeria Society for the Blind at Kappa, Oshodi. It's a special rehabilitation center for the blind. He didn't have the funds to enroll for the vocational training course. His friends and family began an online campaign to crowdfund his rehabilitation.
The help started with my classmates, Federal Government College Kano classmates. They came in. At first, they helped with the surgery, but after a while, they stepped back to take care of their own personal issues. But by the time I now raised the voice again in the wilderness to say, please, I need help, they came again, sent 1 or 2 things just to keep body and soul together. My elder brother came in, then ex-students, those that I taught, came in as well. And they rallied around, helped me out until I graduated.
With his fees paid, he began a 1-year process to rehabilitate for his new life.
I did braille reading and writing, did rehabilitation and mobility. Mobility is by means of how you move around without being aided with the use of a white cane. This is a white cane. It's a white cane. You just put it on the ground and you just be feeling around. It guides one, a visually impaired person, to move around freely without any fear of falling down. Then I learned how to operate the computer using keystrokes. My students from Ikeja Junior High School.
E4, 40, E4.
So I'm going through their scores. Gradually, I started getting used again to the laptop, something I felt I could not do again. And what really helped me was the application that was installed in the computer. It's called JAWS, Job Access with Speech. On the phone, we have what we call TalkBack. So that is the way we started using handset and the computer in general. The experience changed my life and my way of seeing life in a new perspective.
In 2019, Cyril graduated as the best student at the rehabilitation school. Thereafter, he enrolled in another course by Sight Savers, an international non-governmental organization dedicated to empowering the visually impaired with digital skills.
Sight Savers really helped me out in terms of how to replan yourself, how to organize your career, how to work out your CV to make it to be a one-page document, how to prepare for an interview, what kind of questions to expect, how to do follow-up after an interview, then preparing for the work environment, and it gave me that boost and that confidence to be bold, to be self-confident, to be to have that charisma, to have that character, to move on. So Sasiva did that for me.
Despite all this training, he was not quite prepared for the challenge of getting back into the labor market as a person with disability. Luckily, an old connection came through.
The person's name is Mrs. Grace Egbobi. I will be grateful to her. She got in touch with me and said, there's an opening in the public sector. They are looking for a maths teacher, and she's going to submit my name, being that that's my course. And an interview was conducted, and today I was employed. I was posted to Ikeja Junior High School. When I first of all met the principal, Mr. Safiu, he said he's not going to reject me because he sees in me something that will be of benefit to the school.
He gave me a brief interview in my office, and he told me that he will be able to handle mathematics skillfully. So I said, let me give him a try. And since then, I've been watching him. And what I noticed about him is that he has great passion for this job. You will never see him coming late to work. He's always front in the class, and he does the work with passion.
I'm happy his decision of accepting me is paying dividends now. And ever since I stepped in here, I've been putting my best, and I believe the best is still yet to come.
Just when he thought getting a job was hard enough, commuting to and from work as a visually impaired man became a tough road to travel.
When I leave the compound, I stay at the gate side. The person that do help us at times, he comes in, he will take me to the bus stop. I will enter a bus going to Oshodi. I will drop at Kappa. From Kappa, I will take a bus coming down to PWD. Drop at PWD. When I get down, God has been faithful. Somebody is always there. They will take me across the railway track and to the other side, bring me over to this side, to the GRA side, drop me at the gate. At times it will be a teacher, a fellow teacher. At times it will be a student. At times just be a passerby who has a measure of kindness in him or her.
This is David Okon, former president of the Nigeria Association of the Blind. He is the current chairman of the association's education committee. Okon was born sighted, but became blind as an infant. Like Cyril, he had a hard time securing a job despite his skills and education. He's now a staunch advocate for equal opportunities for persons with disabilities.
Blind people can work as long as they have the education that is required. They need training like other people. It might be some specialized training, but honestly, it doesn't cost the price of a rocket. They need equipment that will make them function appropriately. That might cost a little more than what you give. But every employer should think this way.
Okon also analyzes the role that the Nigerian society has played in perpetuating the belief that persons with disabilities are outcast.
The society is yet to come to terms with the fact that a blind person or a person with disability is a member of the society. Or they see him as that lesser being. You can even hear things like, this handsome man or this beautiful girl or lady is blind. That is just nothing but pity. But are they ready to see you as an equal stakeholder in the society, in the organization, in the workplace, in the school environment, even in the church? The answer is not in the affirmative for now. A blind person would have ordinarily not been so disadvantaged if the society was more enabled. The environment, the road networks was not built with me in mind. And even when the government even did some walkways, pavements that you could walk and not be run down by moving traffic, you find out that that is not possible because the walkways have now become markets. The bike owners, ones we call Okada, park their bikes on top there. And so I now it would then be as if I'm more handicapped than I should be.
Drawing from his personal experience with disability discrimination, Cyril makes a passionate plea for an inclusive society.
Those who have physical disabilities, they are pushed aside. They look them as perpetual beggars. And it's not supposed to be. Some of us, we are learned. We don't need pity. We need opportunities. We need encouragement. Those who are lacking education, they need to go to school. Those who need employment, they need to get employment. Those who need to even start their own crafts and their own little business, they need such help.
Every 6 minutes, someone is told they're going blind. Leading medical journal Lancet Global Health projects that global blindness will triple by 2050 to 115 million. Okon speaks to these figures as he calls for a paradigm shift in how society views and treats persons with disabilities.
I have not come across a blind person who have become sighted. Unfortunately, I've come across too many sighted people who have become blind. The question then is, why don't you think of making the society a better place? In case it will be that person you know, or even you, because there is nothing that says that it cannot be you tomorrow. So that will not join us in the crying and lamentations that we're going through.
In January 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari signed the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act. The act criminalizes discrimination against persons with disabilities and requires all public organizations to reserve at least 5% of employment opportunities for these persons. But that law has the challenge of enforcement. As for Cyril Ojimen, he has found a job that pays him 2 times Nigeria's minimum wage, and he plans to retire in the teaching profession. However, many other PWDs are not as lucky. They can be found on the streets, begging for alms to survive, or locked up in homes, hidden by their families for fear of discrimination.
Essay Designs is a fashion accessory label that specializes in the design and creation of handcrafted bags and footwear. I knew I was going to do something in fashion. I didn't know what exactly it was going to be, but I knew I would be in fashion. If it used to be the cleaner in fashion, whatever, but I have to be in fashion. When we started off with just strictly bag making. But then you get people say, oh, can I get a matching shoe? And then over time, people say, oh, I would like to give my boyfriend a wallet, but I want it with Ankara or something. So over time, we had to listen to our customers and infuse their ideas into our brand. Okay, we wanted something with the African touch, with the Nigerian feel. We make leather bags. But if I'm making a leather bag and I put it in a store, if you don't know Hesse Designs is Nigerian, you probably think it's a foreign bag. So what's the point of promoting something that is not, if you look at, you can't link it to Africa, you can't link it to Nigeria. Wanted something to promote Africa, wanted something to promote Nigeria. We also want to empower our artisans here. So that's why we keep our content local, raw materials local, production local. We still get a lot of people from around the world ordering from our website. So I believe it's because of what we've built, the brand we've built over time that still speaks for us. In the last 3 years, we've done over 10,000 items. We've sold over 10,000 items to both corporate clients, retail clients, and wholesale clients.
At least your treacherous body would have been manure for the motherland. Listen to the words of a corpse. You cannot win this war.
My production career started off practically by some form of divine intervention. I work in TV production, and I've done that in advertising for over 20 years. I do storytelling as well. I do narrative. I've done films, TV series, etc. I taught myself to draw, and that meant 4 hours of sketching every day, minutely competent, where people will say, this doesn't suck. You actually have to practice.
For God's sake, Emeka, we don't even have enough guns or food. What were you thinking? If you and Uzogu had not unleashed your unique brand of madness last January, we wouldn't be swimming in Biafran blood. It was a revolution!
I was with one of my uncles, and he got me a job in, then it was Vanguard newspapers in Apapa. And I got to meet all my heroes because in those days, I knew every cartoonist of every Nigerian publication by name because I would always look for the signature. Advertising was obviously the way to go. English then, if you're doing English, you're either going to be a teacher or something. I was like, no, this is a cool industry. This industry is really cool. It's really being paid to be creative. I was sent around the agency to learn every aspect of advertising. And when I got to TV production, the then head of TV production of ESO and you, then Mr. Greg Odutayo, said to me, okay, I want him. So he just made a request. There are many highlights. I've won awards for films I've made, TV series I've done. But let me just jump forward. The most recent thing I've done I'm extremely proud of is being one of the 3 directors on MTV Sugar, Niger. Then you have to learn. So when I came into production, I was always asking questions. So I was on a quest to know why this visual image was better than this visual image. And that got me into studying and learning about production. It helps to be always focused on what will make you win. There's a very healthy sense of motivating yourself to always get things right. Make sure your work is up to standard. It resembles anything else across any other platform across the world. The second thing is it must have your identity. It must have your strong cultural identity.
I will take you through this amazingness today.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
A 20-meter cliff, a couple of ropes, freezing cold water, and me trying to cope with all of that. I did make it down in the end, but this outing with a couple of guys really had me testing my limits. And that's precisely our topic this week on Made, leaving the comfort zone. I'm Chris Kober, welcome. We don't want to be bogged down with details, do we? It is the result that counts. Well, sometimes it's the details that unveil an inconvenient truth. Take meat production. We know that for us to be able to slap that steak on our grill, an animal needs to die. Often enough in anything but a gentle or respectful way. Our reporter Kai Steinecke, an avid meat lover, decided he wants to leave his comfort zone and does want to know how the sausage gets made, literally. A word of warning, the report contains scenes some viewers may find disturbing.
Hello. I am going to slaughter one of these animals. They belong to Wendelin Schmücke. He farms sheep the traditional way. His family has been doing this since 1750. His sheep are out to pasture for most of the year. But it's hard to find enough grazing land.
The sheep need about a hectare a day, that is.
A hectare every day?
Yes, a hectare for 700 sheep.
So this whole field is only enough for today. When they've had their fill, the flock will go home to the farm.
I hope the ones that I'm gonna slaughter are going to be bigger.
Oh yes, this one is bigger. It's 6 months old and weighs about 40 kilos.
That's huge.
I had no idea how quickly they grow.
I really don't know if I can do this.
I'm grappling with the fact that we kill animals so we can eat meat, and that I'm going to kill this lamb. First, we have to take it to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, you really can feel the 40 kilograms.
It's a 10-minute drive, nothing in comparison to the lengthy journeys to the slaughterhouse that livestock often face. Marco Kerr will be by my side throughout the process. He's been a butcher for more than 10 years, and he only slaughters what people bring him for their own consumption, like this lamb that I've bought. What was it like for you the first time?
You don't forget the first time. I had to leave the room. It was all a bit much. Not because of the blood, but the fact that an animal is dying. You don't really grasp that until you see it. And when it's done, you can't undo it. But we'll manage.
Oh God.
Marco shows me how to use a bolt gun. It destroys the sheep's brain, and it won't feel anything afterwards.
Hold it loosely and then press once. That was it.
Oh! Yeah. That's like a real gun.
Yeah.
And now the lamb's head is in the firing line.
All is good, all is good. Oh my God.
Höchster Punkt.
Highest point, draw a line. There.
Finger weg.
Take your fingers away.
Immer den Finger weg.
Ja.
So.
On the head and pull the trigger.
Ja.
Knife, slice it through, all the way.
Durchstechen, richtig.
And again.
Muss man einmal. Oh God, Jesus.
That's a lot of blood. That's a lot of blood.
Das war's.
That was it. It's over.
Hat er's geschafft.
So, how was it?
It's all happening so fast. I think I'll need time to process that. I've killed an animal.
Super geschossen, wirklich.
Great shot, really.
Wirklich sehr gut.
But that was just the first step. We're still a long way from having any chops or sausages. First, cut off the head, then the legs and the pelt. That's easier than I'd expected.
Das bedeutet dann aber auch
This
so,
isn't mass
es ist ja keine
production.
Masse so, ne? Also dann kann ja nicht jeder
Not
immer
everybody
dann
can
halt
get
so
a
einen
lamb
Lamm
like this.
haben, mehr oder weniger.
Das ist so. Das ist
That's
so. Aber
true.
das macht's auch wieder besonders.
But that's
Und
what
das
makes
ist
it
auch wieder das,
special.
da haben wir den
And it's what makes it sustainable.
Nachhaltigkeitsaspekt einfach mit drin. Die Leute
People approach the whole thing in a different
denken
way,
einfach anders über das
especially with an
Fleisch,
animal like
wenn sie es
this.
essen, gerade bei so einem Tier. Genau.
We still need to get rid of the guts.
Genau. Einmal über Nacht in die Kühlung, wenn's abtropfen.
Now it's left to hang overnight. That makes it easier to process.
I think what happened back in that slaughterhouse will forever be burned into my mind. The noises, the sounds, the smells, but it's the only way that sustainably eating meat is actually possible, because doing this in the masses of meat we eat today is absolutely impossible. But still, for me, I don't really know if I'm ever going to walk into a supermarket again and be like, yeah, I'm going to eat that meat.
The next morning, it's time to harvest the meat we've worked so hard for. Taking the carcass apart isn't any easier, it turns out.
And there goes the shoulder.
Yes!
About 20 kilograms of the lamb are lost in the process, mainly the pelt and the guts. That looks great.
Da haben wir es. Dann Bratwurst als erstes.
How about a sausage
Ja.
for starters?
Dann
I'm not going to lie, this tastes really, really good. And I don't feel guilty about it because the lamb had a good life and a good death. And I'm not turning vegetarian, but it's only for special occasions, really. When you slaughter animals like we used to do 100 or 150 years ago, and like we just did, you also need to eat meat like we used to 100 or 150 years ago. That means only a steak a week, and that's it.
Oh my, what a day for a reporter. Leaving your comfort zone doesn't always happen voluntarily. People losing their jobs because businesses are suffering under pandemic restrictions. Now, that's a real problem. But maybe this crisis can also offer opportunities. Entrepreneur Ernest Darko might have some advice for you, even if you're not into large-scale health systems development like he is.
The COVID pandemic has really turned the world upside down. So here are the 5 tips to boost your career in the context of a pandemic. It's really important to focus on things that you're passionate about. Even if in the overall sense of your career, it's hard to find, the thing to be passionate about. I grew up in a situation where healthcare was always poor, clinics were always overcrowded. Halfway through my medical career, I realized that if I really want to make a difference in these types of environments, I needed to be a doctor of systems, not just of people. Many years later, here I am basically running a company that is focused on helping countries fix their systems at large scale. If it's not easy to get out of bed to go to that job or to go do that particular thing I've chosen to do, then I know I'm probably doing the wrong thing. If in particular you're in a career that's very much dependent, for example, on seeing people, and we know that going into lockdown and isolation is the norm, it's definitely going to impact your career or your profession negatively. So do that assessment really quickly to understand whether it's going to diminish or create opportunities for you. If there is an opportunity, try and figure out how am I going to work myself into that opportunity. So if I can now innovate in order to now meet this new demand, yes, I cannot see people in person, but there's this huge demand now. How can I innovate basically to meet this new opportunity? So we developed a screening app, for example, that community workers who are going to do the door-to-door COVID screening could use to capture the screening and the result of the screening in real time. Look at tech enabling yourself, right? Using technology to allow you to innovate, using technology to allow you to meet the new opportunities that are presented by COVID, as opposed to purely being a victim to what COVID has done. So technology can be a game changer in many cases. It allows you to scale yourself up. It allows you to be accessible by your clients in ways that probably might actually be better than pre-COVID. As we've seen with COVID, things keep changing, right? Everything from having first wave to second wave to learning new things about the disease that then changes the policy environment, that then changes the rules. You'll know you're adapting in the right way if you're maintaining your clients, if you're maintaining quality and you're maintaining satisfaction with what you're doing. I know it may sound like a bit of a luxury to be in a position where you can do all of these things because some people may not actually have these options. But to the extent that you can, I think it's important that you do so. And I've seen some amazing examples of people doing this and in fact, not only surviving the pandemic, but actually thriving in the context of all of the challenges that COVID-19 has brought.
Readjusting your career can be difficult, no doubt, particularly if your plan was to have one of the coolest jobs ever, flying a plane. But we know the pandemic has been an utter nightmare for the travel business. The global airline body IATA says air traffic this year is expected to be 66% lower than last. So it's been a huge mess for the sector up to this point, and even with bookings slowly recovering, German flagship carrier Lufthansa has suggested that would-be pilots in its prestigious Flight Academy might have to rethink their plans.
Flying free as a bird over majestic landscapes, it's an appealing prospect for many. The videos about Lufthansa's pilot training program in the United States are a favorite with Lukas Heim. The 22-year-old moved to Bremen a year ago with his girlfriend to start his training at the European Flight Academy, the Lufthansa Group's training school in Germany. Now they're packing up and leaving Bremen. In March, the course was suspended. 700 would-be pilots were left hanging. For Lukas, it's been a very trying time.
They just kept stalling and putting us off. First they said the course would start up again in May, then in September, then next January. Since it's also unclear, it's time for us to leave. We can't keep paying rent for this flat. We came to Bremen so that I could become a pilot and Svea could go to university. But our time here is now over.
After many months in a kind of suspended animation, would the training resume or wouldn't it, Lukas and Svea made the difficult decision to give up and go home.
We had a plan when we moved here. Lukas was going to complete his training. And now we're leaving again, and he hasn't completed it. It's like running in a marathon and turning back halfway and never reaching the finish line.
Lufthansa, Germany's biggest airline, was brought to its knees by the collapse in air travel caused by the pandemic. It was saved from bankruptcy by a €9 billion bailout. Half its fleet remains grounded. The head of Lufthansa Aviation Training, Stefan Kenan-Scheib, says the airline has 1,000 pilots more than it needs.
We tell our student pilots quite candidly that the prospects for becoming a pilot are very, very bad right now because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the financial situation of the Lufthansa Group. We're losing €500 million every month. It's our duty to be open to the students and tell it like it is.
Most aviation industry analysts say the demand for pilots after the pandemic is hardly likely to soar. They don't see air travel picking up significantly until 2025. Most of the youngsters who have had to halt their training need a job to get by. Caroline Bösner was in the United States when she heard the course had been suspended. Now she's back living with her parents in Leipzig and working at an Amazon logistics center.
It wasn't easy, but I had to take a pragmatic approach. I knew I couldn't just sit around at home. I had to do something. And it wouldn't be a bad thing to make some money. You don't earn anything as a student pilot. On the contrary, it's more like burning money.
Many student pilots now find themselves in a precarious financial situation. They are by far not the only group of people in need of work, as the pandemic and ensuing lockdown measures shuttered entire industries.
People who worked in tourism or food service are coming to us. They say either they need a job as a stopgap measure or they want to change careers entirely.
Caroline Bösner says for her, working at Amazon is temporary. She's not given up her long-standing dream of becoming a pilot. She remains as committed as ever.
I absolutely still want to fly. I'm not going to give up on my dream. It's anchored within me and it's not going to go away. I flew all over Florida. It was fantastic. And then suddenly I was back in cold Germany. I can't imagine doing anything else. So I have to find a way to finish my training. If need be, without Lufthansa.
200 minimum.
The enthusiasm may be great, but facts on the ground are not encouraging. Lufthansa has recommended its students actually give up rather than wait for the course to restart. If they complete the programme, they're going to be charged €80,000, and they won't have the guarantee of a job, as used to be the case. Lukas's father, Christopher Heim, is appalled. He's been a pilot at Lufthansa for 32 years.
This sounds to me rather like coercion. If I agree to terminate the training contract, everything will be fine. If I don't and want to fulfill my dream, then a huge sum of money comes due. I don't like that. I think it's dishonorable.
It's quiet and empty at the European Flight Academy in Bremen. This is the first time Lukas Heim has been inside since March. He too remains determined to become a pilot, despite the difficult conditions prevailing right now. Though he says he doesn't yet know how he's going to do that.
What I would like is for them to say, when we restart pilot training, we'll take you guys first. Or that they at least certify our test results.
But Lufthansa has not made any such commitment. Nor does CEO Carsten Spohr have any words of encouragement for the students. He's already indicated that Lufthansa will have no more work for tens of thousands of its employees.
As with all professions and at all German universities, there are no guarantees of jobs in the future. And that is the case here too. Aviation remains a fascinating industry for young people too. But I think we have to face reality. In the years ahead, there are going to be too many people for the jobs available. Anybody planning a career in aviation has to take this into account.
The pandemic could end the dreams of an entire generation of would-be pilots.
"2020 has brought dread, distress, and disappointment, sure, but there are exceptions. E-commerce has seen an unprecedented boom. And with people having second thoughts about standing in line at crowded malls, trade experts believe online shopping revenue in Germany will be up almost 20% this year. But my colleague Olaf Krieger feels Christmas is not about the presents. It's what we make of it, now more than ever.
Christmas is what we make of it.
Oh, how joyfully, oh, how merrily, Christmas comes with its grace divine.
Christmas comes with grace in this of all years?
Really?
Krieger, is that you?
Erika!
What are you doing here?
How about a bit of Christmas in these troubled times?
Come on in, we can decorate and we can chat.
You have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. How many altogether?
I have 3 kids of my own, 2 girls and a boy, 5 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren.
What's your favorite Christmas memory?
My childhood, with my parents and grandparents and with my kids with the tree ready. Not a day earlier.
No one helps?
I don't want any help.
How about the food?
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Christmas Eve is lentils with sausages. The next day, potato salad and maybe roast goose with red cabbage and kale from this garden.
From your garden?
Yes. So tell me, Krieger, how is Christmas with your family? Do you spend Christmas at home or do you go somewhere?
I'm going to try to be with my mother, but it might not be possible. She's in a home, and I may not be allowed in. But we hope that whatever the conditions, we can celebrate Christmas and be together. We can make that happen somehow. I hope. But suppose we can't meet up the way we used to at Christmas.
Yeah, if my son comes, we'll sit together with him and my daughter-in-law and my grandchild. And for everyone else, we have the phone.
Our Christmas lights. Suddenly people are so important again. Forget about the presents. Christmas won't be cancelled. It'll just be different. Let's have more light.
Let's have more light. What a splendid idea. That's our show. Thanks for watching. See you back here next week.
Reading is an essential habit and a culture that must be developed. Nigerians are generally believed to have a poor reading culture. The role of government in promoting reading and equipping reading spaces and libraries in Nigeria cannot be underestimated. But first, we must look at the development of reading habits from the home and the role parents play in encouraging their children.
My parents, my mom used to be a teacher, so reading was obviously part of a curriculum. And then my father used to be a professor and is an author. So I started reading very, very early, and I started reading books that were higher than my age grade. I was reading African Writer series from age 7, age 8, and reading encyclopedias by that time. So obviously my parents had a huge part and encouraged that in me.
In the Nigerian book market, there's a high influx of foreign authors writing for children, but very few Nigerian authors telling relatable, homegrown Nigerian stories.
If you start out reading stories even to your baby, even before they're 1, and then as they get older, buy appropriate materials that are colorful, with easy to read words, and read with them. I think that helps.
Adedotun Enyade, a co-founder of Robin Heights, a leading bookstore in Nigeria, has tips for Nigerian authors and how they can improve on their work and get into the hearts of readers.
The story has to be good, right? If you're writing, whatever you're writing, if you're writing fiction, if you're writing non-fiction, it has to be really, really compelling, one. The next thing would be in terms of the packaging, right? People have gone past the era where you just take your books with just about any printer to print for you. I think, publishers, self-published authors as well, they need to invest in ensuring that the quality of the book, the final output is one that would, stack up with any book, published, elsewhere in the world. So that's really important. Then I think, what would be the most important tip for me to them would be just, they need to invest in marketing.
The book business, like any other business, is challenging.
If you ask anyone who's running the business in Nigeria, they will tell you capital, of course, right? Book selling is also, as with any other business, is also quite capital intensive. Getting to pay your rent, getting to actually buy the books and stock up your shelves when you have them. Hiring good people requires decent amount of capital. So I would say it's getting the startup funds to set up something. And then if you're looking to do it at scale like we're hoping to do, then it also requires you raising funding, which isn't readily available in commercial banks, right? I don't think a bank would say they want to give you a loan to set up a bookstore. They probably will be skeptical about the number of people who read. So for us, I think it's just I would say capital is at the top of the totem pole.
It is commendable that certain individuals and organizations are making concerted efforts to revive the reading culture in the country. The government should also redesign the school curriculum to incorporate more reading activities in primary and secondary schools.
I will take you through this amazing lesson today.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hello and welcome to this edition of our program, Timeless Conversations. Today, my guest is someone who has played such a significant role in the development of hip-hop music in Nigeria, which has actually now transformed into what is popularly called Afrobeats with the S. You understand me? And today he is functioning not directly as a practicing musician, and we'll get into that, but he's functioning as an administrator of sorts in the world of music. He is currently the president of the Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria, PMAN. Let's welcome together Pretty Okafor.
Thank you so much.
How are you
Thank
doing?
you for having me. I'm good.
Nice to see you. If you recall, there was a duo called Junior and Pretty back in the day. And they caught the nation by storm. Their music was very original. Their songwriting was simple, direct, and everyday. Nigerians related to it. There was one of their major hits. There was Monica Monica. And then after that was Bolanle. But I'm going to ask him a question now. How were you able to cope with the loss of your brother, friend, colleague, Junior?
It wasn't easy. I think till date it still affected me because we started as teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Our first album were teenagers.
Yes.
With the Monica Monica thing. And so that means we grew up as children till when we became teenagers and to adulthood. So we've known each other for close to like 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're used to combining in the craft of songwriting.
Yeah.
Creating rhymes. We were the first people that started creating rhymes from our local content and all that.
Yes.
So the encouragement, may he so rest in peace. When Junior left, the encouragement wasn't there anymore. But I had so much responsibilities to handle. I had to now look after his family, my family, and the extended family. So it was a huge tax. But I thank God I survived it.
Mm. Yeah, one of the things that happened to you was that you went quiet, very quiet, and you look quiet naturally. So
I'm quiet.
Yeah. So you went quiet.
No, not really. I didn't go quiet. Like I said, I had to concentrate on building companies because Junior wasn't around. So making money from what we were doing, because from playing the concerts, we started producing and anchoring Benson and Hedges Golden Tones.
Yes,
you
I remember that.
So we're still doing that when he had that crash and passed. So I woke up one day, I just got irritated or frustrated, and I resigned. I don't want to work with.
That's going quiet.
Eh?
That's going quiet.
Yeah, but I went quiet, now concentrating, paying attention to build companies, to build structure.
So what companies were you building?
Okay, I was building Pretty Boy Entertainment. Pretty Boy Entertainment is the biggest. Pretty Boy Entertainment used to produce Mega Jam.
Okay.
So built Pretty Boy Entertainment, built Red Worldwide, and a whole lot. Red Worldwide is a marketing communication agency. So I was paying attention, building all those structures, making money anyway, so I could look after.
You could satisfy the responsibilities.
Responsibilities
that had fallen on you.
Yeah, and again, also remember at that era they weren't making much money. We weren't making much money like this. This youths are making now. So you had to do a whole lot and pay attention, be focused to succeed in those things.
You guys were first striking at the glass ceiling. These guys shattered it.
Yeah. So you could say we prepared the part
Yeah.
for them to excel. And that's why till today I get excited. I'm happy with what is happening with our music scene and the growth.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, you know, having seen what you did back in the day, how do you feel with the exponential growth that could only have been dreamt up back then?
I'm sure wherever Junior is, he's very, very excited, because while we were 1989, 1990, while we were working seriously to build this same genre of music, what we wanted to do was, how can we surpass the growth of reggae music? We're in Nigeria, so every other brand of music is excelling, but no one has crossed Nigeria or crossed Africa. But reggae was everywhere.
Reggae came from everywhere.
Yes, so we wanted to create a genre that can beat reggae. Though it didn't happen while we were still performing, but it has happened now.
Yes.
Like I said, Jen is very, very happy wherever he is. And I'm excited because what we planned, like I keep telling people, what happened to Afrobeat now was a predetermined progress. It was a predetermined structure that me and Junior built. We were chasing it. But again, if you're building something, I learned it with experience, if you're building something that is fantastic, you might not be the one that will take it.
It doesn't usually happen like that.
So where the music industry is now, I'm excited, I'm proud. I keep telling it to everybody, just do what you can do, that is your part, and the rest will take care of itself.
I'll take up one thing you said. You said something about collaborative songwriting, right? Between you and Junior in his lifetime. Is there the hope that the songwriting segment of the performing arts would be built up to international standards where people can write songs, give to somebody, license to somebody else to sing, and then they make money from it? Or they just have to keep selling?
No. It's already happening.
It is?
It's already happening. Like, luckily, I'm the president of the Performing Musicians Employers Association of Nigeria. Now, PMAN is not a music association. It's a trade union. It's the only trade union in creative industry.
Okay.
It's entertainment industry. So now going through that and also working, like a whole lot of people like, okay, we know pretty what he can do. We try to portray and push forward where songwriters are making money, composers are making money.
Okay.
They are splitting revenues when it comes to royalties. So now if you write song, you don't just write and they pay you off. You write and share split royalties. There's a split contract.
Okay.
So once that song start raking in billions, trillions.
No, you cannot start with thousands.
Yes, but you start making money. So there's a whole lot of the songwriters now that don't just write song and they pay them 1 peanut. They write song and they do a contract.
Okay.
They can also pay them money, but they do a contract. And the contract is the split sheet contract that they will do with the artist. So once the song goes viral, the songwriter is also making money.
Is also making money, which brings me to this point, and that is that there used to be this issue of royalty, collection of royalty and all that. And recently, I think MCSN has been recognized as the only collecting society in the country, licensed to operate within the country. Is PMAN part of that, or how does that impact PMAN and its members?
First, if getting into the system, and knowing what the structure of PMAN or authority of PMAN is, if PMAN does not agree, have a contract with you, you cannot collect from musicians. That's one thing for sure. So what MCSN is doing, because there's an agreement between PMAN and MCSN to collect for our members.
Okay.
And because we're a trade union, for our member means whether registered or unregistered musicians. So MCSN is actually the ones that are licensed right now to collect royalties for musicians. And PMAN supervises that collection. PIMA makes sure that the corporate bodies pay. MCSN collects, and MCSN distributes to the members, to the owners of the rights. Of the rights, yeah.
Okay. Now, the process of collection should suggest that there's some level of registration, and you seem to have alluded to it when you said that whether you are a registered member or unregistered member.
That's for PMAN. That's for PMAN.
Yeah, I'm going to PMAN. So how does PMAN ensure that all musicians register?
Now, if you don't have to be a PMAN member before releasing a song. That's our work is to monitor that structure, that scene, that music, and music entrepreneurship and music performance. That's what we do. So, but to collect your royalties. Now, they've been collecting royalties. Some of them don't register in Nigeria, some of them register outside.
Outside, yes.
But first, to collect your royalties, which is not your master royalties, is your mechanical royalties, your performance royalties, your digital royalties, or your needle time. We call it neighboring right royalty, but it's needle time royalty for you and your members. For you to collect that, you need a CMO, a copyright management organization, to be able to collect that. And for you to collect that and register in your account, you need to be a member of the CMO.
Okay, in this instance,
MCSN.
MCSN.
You need to be a member because MCSN has a reciprocal agreement with other CMOs around the world.
Around the world, okay.
So when they collect rights of Nigerian musicians and all that, they channel it to MCSN. MCSN collects it from them and distributes. So for you to get your money in Nigeria, not just collecting in South Africa or in Ghana or that, to collect it from Nigeria, you need to be a registered member of MCSN.
Okay, so that's MCSN. Now, PMAN. Is membership open to anyone who is into music, or who is an instrumentalist, or who is what? And how does that happen?
Now, to be a PMAN member, you need to be a musician. You need to be a music practitioner. You need to be a music producer. You need to be a music director. You need to be a music promoter.
A promoter?
Yeah. Because the union accommodates people that work around music.
Okay, around music.
Yes. Yeah. So that's it. Your DJs, your dancers. Now, the reason why they created that body, and I'm sure when my leaders created it, they didn't, maybe where it was just me and my team that found out that we're actually a trade union, not an association. They were calling it an association until we got hold of the certificates and all that. Now, the reason for government to give PMAN that certificate is so that you could protect the rights of the musicians and the music practitioners.
Okay.
So the music practitioners could be all those people that I mentioned. And why they need to register so that PMAN can take care of their welfare. Now, like what we created recently, once you register, you get automatic medical insurance. You get a life insurance in case of eventualities. You get a pension plan in case when you get to 65 to 70 and you want to retire from active performance. Then you also get a backup for legal assistance in case of contractual issues. If you know, recently since we came up, it has died down. Contractual issues, then visa assistance. Also, PMAN is the only body that can give you a notary document that will make any country give you a work permit to do your tour. So if you're going tours around the world or any country, they definitely need a work permit in that country. Okay. And the only union or association that can give it to you
from here
is a PMAN.
So now, you see where you spoke about welfare. You will come to expatiate on it, but let's talk about what propelled you to run for the presidency of PMAN.
Wanted to do things the right way. I'm this person that believes that our country can be the biggest and the most beautiful country on planet Earth if we have fantastic leaders. So I've always said that. I've always worked towards that, because I'm saying this because of how I've been able to manage my own company. Wanted to do something differently. The union was lying fallow until I was called upon. And I'll tell you again, they called me because I was successful in my own businesses.
What is the
elders in PMAN.
Name them. A few of them.
Kenny George, Zima Coy, Murphy Van Anthony. That's the era when they were having.
Okay.
So I came in and I said, okay, let's look at it. But we were able to build the structure now because I came in with the business background.
Okay.
Attitude. I came in and they were using some kind of funny lawyers, and I said, no, I need to bring my personal lawyer in here. I need to bring my personal accountant. I need to bring my personal finance director. So we started adjusting. We worked so hard, and we wanted to prove that, yeah, there might be some mistakes formally, but we're here now to take the union forward. And everybody can testify to what has happened. Recently, we purchased the first ever PMAN edifice for the past 40 years. And we moved the headquarters from Ikeja to the island. And then we're now springing up radio stations both in Lagos and Abuja. So
you have radio stations that are yours? Oh, that's good. Now, what's the significance of moving from Ikeja to the island?
Okay, we wanted to. I'm the middle school. If I should use the word, there's old school, there's new school, there's middle school. So me, Junior, and the rest of Sonny Neji,
people of your
Zaki, we're middle school. We're not new school. So actually, they voted us out, the younger ones. We have these other younger ones, Roger Man, Asha Gangali, and the rest.
Yes.
So when we got the fund to purchase the property, so I wanted to buy it in Ikeja.
Okay.
But the way I run the association, I run an open office. So we all voted. And I found out that it was only me and Sonny Neji that voted for Ikeja. The rest voted for Island. Like, what are we going to be doing on the island? What are we going to, blah, 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 blah. But these boys sat us down and made us understand that the music industry has moved from Ikeja to Lekki. So if we want to get these boys to recognize, they know PMAN, some of them might know PMAN, but they don't understand the worth of PMAN. For them to understand that...
Or want to associate.
We need to buy the property where they reside, so where it's going to be closed. I doubted it, but again, we voted, so I allowed it. But I'll tell you the truth, at the time we purchased it, we're just doing all the renovation and all that. These boys still trooping in. The younger ones, the new car, the whole of them were trooping in. They were excited that PMAN that they know is has actually been revived and all that.
So it's like this is now our PMAN.
Now, no,
they have brought it to us.
Is their own PMAN now, because I keep telling them I'm old school. Yes. But the beautiful thing, like what we keep telling them, once I leave, we're handing over to the younger ones. They are running it. We won't do that same mistake that the older ones, they want to stay put there and all that. So we're actually bringing them on board for them to understand how the structure works and how what you must do to progress and what you will do that will make you fail. So that's where we are.
Now, you said something about welfare for musicians. Now, the welfare in the Nigerian sense, it seems as if someone just takes over all your responsibilities. Is this clearly defined?
Yes, it is. For your medical insurance, is for, first, for you to understand the structure, is a group.
It's a group life thing.
Yes, a group life thing.
Group health thing.
Yes, because we are huge in number. I actually didn't know that we're this large musicians. So we're able to negotiate a reduced rate for group life and all that.
Yeah.
If you're a PMAN member, you get opportunity to have 4 members of your family to be looked after with insurance.
Okay.
Now, the insurance is basic malaria, this bed rest, drip, but once it comes to critical ailment like kidney and that will require approval again from from ESCOs and all that. But the regular, you go to the hospital or your wife is pregnant, those ones have been taken care of. That's the welfare.
That's the basic one.
That's the basic one. Then the life insurance is for death and accident. In case of you have permanent disability. If it's not death, permanent disability. So that there's a particular money that will go to you for permanent disability, and there's a particular money that will go to the member of your family for that. That is for life insurance. Then for pension plan, once you're 65, 70, and you've submitted your application that you are retiring from active performance. Yeah, it happens, a whole lot of them.
They submit to the union?
They submit to the union that they're retiring from active performance. So once they submit that, the process will go on, and the particular musician will be getting 100,000 monthly.
Really?
Yes.
You're saying that PMAN has that kind of...
PMAN
has that kind of policy in place?
PMAN has more than that. PMAN is likened to American Union structure. That's the way we built it. And if you've been to our edifice, our office, that is the standard. Because we have Afrobeat that has taken over the world. So these people started visiting. Like the first week we opened, we got people from America, people from Sweden and all that. It's been happening to be hosting them. So if they come, because I've been to their own offices, if they come, they're like, how did you guys get this idea? How did you build it? I remember the American people, entourage that came said, this is more like their own office.
Are you kidding?
In Nigeria. So that's what we're trying to do. We're not seeing ourselves as, I don't like using the word, we're not seeing ourselves as a third world country.
As far as PMAN goes.
As far as PMAN goes. You know, as Nigeria, because we have the highest natural resources. But I keep saying management has been the issue. But
that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So that's the mentality that my team and I are working with. We are not seeing ourselves as lesser people or we're from the third world. We're seeing ourselves as God has given us everything, so we need to find a way to manage it properly.
But you see, you and your team seem to have come in with a vision. That vision we're going to discuss when we take this break. After this break, we'll come back and discuss it. Please stay tuned.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Yes, welcome back. Pretty Okafor, PMAN president, is still my guest. Your team has a vision. What's the broad vision?
Putting a geopolitical structure for the music industry. What we're doing in Lagos right now and what we're doing in Abuja, before I leave, I'm sure we would have imputed it in the remaining 4 geopolitical zones. Lagos has a music academy. Right, so where musicians will come and learn rudiments of music and also business of music. So we're having that in Abuja, and we're having that in the remaining 4 geopolitical zones because we want to be able to match the international popularity that's already going before our brand of music. We're doing that so that musicians can have access to the facilities.
Okay.
Right. And these other facilities will also have the radio stations inclusive in these other facilities. That means at the end, yes, it will be a network. So it's a planned stuff. We are also building affordable homes for musicians.
Affordable homes?
Yes, in these geopolitical zones. We've already started. It's not I told you about the radio. Radio is already on.
Yeah.
Is on your Google Play Store now. But the equipment have arrived, so it's set up. So whatever I'm saying is what is going to is a legacy. What is going to be there after my tenure, after the tenure of my other parties.
You're sounding like somebody who has made up his mind that, okay, after this period, I'm not going to be directly involved in administration of the union again.
Yeah, because we've trained a whole lot of people.
How many years have you spent?
The years of the fight and the years of the settlement, or okay,
I've just done, of you being in the saddle.
I just done my first.
So how many more years do you have?
I'm supposed to round up by next year.
Is it just one term?
No.
So they can still bring you back now. You see, you're sounding like, oh no, I've had enough of this wahala.
Yeah,
I want to go and face something else.
No, because it took way too much on me. And
good things don't come easy.
And because I was smart enough, I was able to juggle my business and PMAN. But PMAN needs like 100% concentration.
Keep juggling.
And we were able to. But I also have my first vice. There's a first vice. There's a second vice. There's media. There's Rugged Man. There's Asha Gangali, Zaki Aziz, Sonny Neji, Two-Face, MI. So these guys, Terry G. So these guys are learning. They've seen the successes that we've been able to achieve. So they are learning. They can go from wherever. I won't decide on the next tenor.
No, yes, I will just wait. I will wait and say to you that there is the possibility that they will say, all right, let's have 4 more years of your time or 5 more years and all that. Because, you see, those geopolitical zones that you want to develop, they need the drive of someone who is the visionary. Apparently, you're the visionary. Yeah. They are supportive of the vision. They've bought into it. You can't leave it midway. You can't. So maybe I should start on their behalf, appealing to you, not to think of going anywhere. Because
no, sir, but I think I'm working with some of the smartest people in the industry.
I agree with that. And I congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
I congratulate you. Now, there's something about developing the music industry in Nigeria. You've spoken a little bit about it, but I want to particularly mention the issue of instrumentation, instrumentalists, singers going to learn how to sing, and then you said something about the business end of the music industry. How can we sustain our global attention now if we don't intentionally train musicians and hold up musicianship as a way of life?
Like you mentioned, sir, the building those structures was because we wanted to sustain the growth of Nigerian music. The growth of, I keep telling people, is what God gave us, the growth of Afrobeat. Now, it's there, but we need to sustain it for the next 30 years. And sustaining it means we need to put these structures in place. So those structures are coming with music academy, music school, business academy, business school, business of music school, meaning you've gone to learn the rudiment, playing the guitars and all that, to learn to sing, write songs. But you now need to learn how to manage your talent, how to monetize every aspect of your talent, how you could coordinate the business of touring, the business of releases, record releases and all that. So that's the actual side. And that will create another empire, another brainwave of young people paying 100% attention to that business of music. So which is going to create the sustainability for our industry and the Afrobeat genre.
Yeah, but you mentioned something about managing the business of your talent, or the business of your talent. It's not everybody who can manage themselves, you know.
Yeah.
There must also be an intentional attempt to develop trust in others who can help manage.
Now, if maybe not all the superstars, A-listers, B-listers, and C-listers will have time to go to the school, right? But other music managers, business, your road manager and all that, they will go to the school. So now we're creating more employment. You, the artist, the talent, will employ those people that are already be satisfied as gurus when it comes to business of music management and employ them.
Okay.
So that extends, that also sustains your popularity, that also sustains your touring, that also sustains your monetization in every aspect of the business. Okay. So these people might not have the time to go sit in a classroom and learn all that. But the road managers, the artist managers, the tour managers can learn. And now the main artists will start employing them. So it's also expanding and creating avenue for more employment.
Okay. And this you will do in all the 6 geopolitical zones?
We're already doing it in 2.
In 2.
So we'll do it in the remaining 4.
In the remaining 4. All right. We'll take a break now. When we're back, we're going to visit the Bolanle days of Pretty Okafor. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. I still have Pretty Okafor. By the way, why do they call you Pretty?
My name is actually Pretty Roland Okafor. I'm actually from a royal home.
Okay.
But my first name, Pretty, is actually my native name. It's Machuku. It means beauty of God.
Yeah, no.
But my mother preferred
Pretty
instead of beauty.
Okay. Now, welcome back. We've been in the studio whilst we took a break. Now, Bolanle was a monumental hit of Junior and Pretty. It took you outside Nigeria, like you said. That's the album. But what would you say was responsible for the hit?
Because we were dealing with the commoners. It was the first time we bridged the gap between the young and the old, between the rich and the poor, between the high class and the low class. So everybody could understand the message. Everybody could understand the rhymes. Everybody could understand pidgin and even the vernacular, because we use the popular vernaculars. So people could associate with it. We didn't create music for one particular section of Nigeria, one particular section of people. So we created music for everybody.
Everyone.
So it was a drive that the music was for all individuals. And but the truth is that we didn't even, me and Gina, we didn't even know that it was going to be that big. We didn't even know that people will accept it, because before we did Monica, we've been discouraged. Our demo tape has been thrown out from, yes, from, like I used Polygram, went to Polygram, and they threw our demo tape like 5 times out from the window. And they were like, what are you guys doing? You want to do something better. But when our record label, Storm Record, discovered that this brand of music can actually sell, because they are talking to the crowd. And when they now ventured into it, releasing our first work, which is that Monica, it sold everywhere. It had sold them. They couldn't manage the hype. So they had to broker a deal for Polygram now to come into
the Polygram that became Premier Music.
Yeah, the Polygram that became Premier Music. The same Polygram that threw away our demo.
So they now came back.
So it was, so that's why even with live, I do not take no for an answer. And I don't believe that to say, yeah, it's not possible, it's not in my dictionary, I don't talk about it. Just work towards it. Consistency, keep working, it's going to work.
Okay, so that's like a life lesson for you, and it's something that you used to drive yourself, drive your vision.
Yes.
Now tell me about the day the P-Man House was opened. What was that like for you and for King Sunny Ade?
You know, a whole lot of the other musicians, the older musicians, didn't even believe that it was going to happen. When we announced that we purchased our own house, first time, not rented, a whole lot of them didn't believe it. King Sunny Ade knows us. But again, he came because he wanted to witness. He wanted to be sure. And it's actually the first time I saw King when he came in, actually in my office, and he was speaking to me, and I saw King was
emotional
about, he said, I never thought that P-Man would ever succeed.
In his lifetime?
Yes, in his lifetime. And he's happy. Why he's like this? He's happy because it's happening while he's still alive. And that was when King actually confirmed that the property actually belongs to P-Man. Not to Pretty and his team or to Pretty, So the excitement and, again, the surprise. Like, I like pulling surprises at people. When you think it's not going to happen, I like proving you wrong. So it keep happening. I'm excited because the older people are excited. If you get into the gallery of the foyer of P-Man, you see the past P-Man leaders there. That you see the legends who are on a particular wall. You won't see us there. You won't see me and my escorts because we're serving. Maybe when we're done, our pictures will come there. But it shows that, yes, people also contributed. We respect, we appreciate them. But again, they paved the way to a better P-Man now.
Now, because there is a better P-Man now, there is the fear of continuation or continuity. How are you going to ensure? You know, I remember we were saying something like, don't run off, but there will be term or tenure limitation. Whenever that is up, how are we going to ensure that it doesn't go back again? Especially since it's been proven now that you have a large membership that is believing in the leadership. So how are you going to ensure that that belief is not wasted?
Sustainability. While managing P-Man, we're also training a whole lot of people. fortunately, they've learned the structure of my business ethic. So this range of people that are working in PMAN now know about integrity and transparency. And that's the watchword. That's what has kept the union moving forward. And over the years, I've tested them in a couple of other things to handle. And I know that's why I said I'm fortunate to have the best brain, the best hand, the most sincere people working with me at this time. Along the line, a whole lot of people fell out of us because, again, you see, again, when you're sincere and you're working in the truth and spirit, negativities will be falling off. So only the truth remains. So that's what has happened. I'm not scared. If I formally, I would say, if I leave PMAN, they go sell the property. The radio station, they will sell it. But right now, if I leave, they can sustain it for the next, because there's a structure, there's a program, there's a rudiment of training that we've been able to put everybody through, and they're still going through it. So the structure has been monitored. That's why the structure has been monitored. Nobody can come in and do anything there because there's a trust that is monitoring the structure that's going on.
Okay. Okay, now, so you talk about development of trust, development of musicianship and trainings. Who are your partners for these academies that you are setting up?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
We have 10 strings.
Okay.
10 strings is, should I use the words? I think the biggest music institution for the younger age.
Okay.
Now, yeah, so we're partnering with 10 strings for...
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria, yes.
Okay.
We're partnering with 10 strings for that. We're partnering with an U.S. creative industry business group. We're partnering with a Canadian music business school too for these whole academies that we're building. And we have also partnership with a bank that saw interest in what we're doing, and they partner with us all this while in managing and regulating the industry for us.
Okay, but you talked of banks. Do banks support music now?
They weren't supporting music before, but right now they are supporting music. They are supporting music because of what we've been able to create. I could tell you a bit. If you're a card carrying member, if you're a registered member of PMAN, and you need a loan to do some particular things, and you go through your application to the ESCOs and it's approved, the bank will give you the loan.
The bank because you're guaranteeing it.
Yes, because they are not going to come to that particular musician anywhere he is in the state, in 36 states. They are dealing with the ESCOs. For the ESCOs to approve, that means they know that person, they know they can. The ESCOs are going to monitor the growth of that person. So the banks, we have that agreement with the banks, and there's arrangement where we and the bank also monitor what they're doing with the money.
Yeah, we were talking about the membership. You said you believe that you're over 5 million.
We are over 5 million. We're over 5 million because I break it down. A bit. I'll use the example of Burna Boy. Burna Boy is on tour. Now, Burna Boy is not on tour with himself alone, or himself and his band people. No, Burna Boy is on tour with his band people, his dancers, his management team. When I say his management team, his road manager, his music manager, his top manager. He's on the road with his fashion designer. He's on tour with his makeup artist.
Is the fashion designer also a member of PMAN?
No, if he's a team. Wardrobe, use the word wardrobe manager. He's the wardrobe manager. So wardrobe manager that works with an artist is a member of PMAN.
He's a member of PMAN.
So
must be registered.
Yes. So when he's on tour with about 60, 100, 120 people, they are all PMAN members. So when we're designing this thing, like how many years back, I was wondering how come we're this much? How do we break it down until we started doing a couple of researches? At the time me and Junior started, just me and Junior were I think we're about 22 or 24. Yes, on the road. Because our peace band.
Okay, the act was 2.
The act was 2, but our band, another 14.
Yes.
Now you now have your manager, have your
road manager,
have your wardrobe manager, and all that. So everything was about 22 or so. So we're going on tour. That was then. So these guys go on tour with more larger people. That's why I keep telling people, they will say, the crew that are going on film set and all that are huge. I said, no. If 5 major artists go on tour, they're already employing like about 500 people, or over 1,000 people. So you understand how. I'm also giving you the statistics so you understand how we're able to make money from purchasing.
Towards purchasing.
And
then sustaining your insurance policies.
Sustain our insurance policy and also be able to do our license for the radio and purchase the equipment for the radio.
Okay. So when are you likely to come on the air with your radio station? That's in the Lagos area?
Yes, in the Lagos area. Right now it's being installed.
Okay.
So all the equipment are in.
Yeah,
so it's been installed, I think with, what do you call it?
Before the end of the year?
Yeah, it should be before the end of the year because they are coming to do the inspection and all that.
Inspection, okay. Okay, and then the zonal offices that you're planning, or let's not use the term offices, zonal operations.
Zonal operations, yes.
You understand me?
Geopolitical operations.
Geopolitical. The control is still going to be from the head of
It's going to be centralized.
Okay.
We don't want to leave any loophole in operations, right? Since we've gotten it right, we want to keep it that way. Okay. Because once there's a loophole, they take advantage of that. So what we've been trying to do since we got into PMAN is to close all the gaps and close all the loopholes. So the control is still going to be from Lagos. Even we have an office in Abuja, the control is still going to be from Lagos. So whatever that is happening in Abuja, happening in these other 4 geopolitical zones will be managed from the head office, Lagos.
And all the academies that will be over the 6 geopolitical zones, they're going to be running the same program?
They're going to be running the same program. Now, excuse me, because people in Calabar can't come to Lagos. Because if they come to Lagos, they need to...
It will be expensive for them.
So that's why we're taking the schools and the business
as close to them as possible.
Close to them. Now, also understand that we have a huge number that we're controlling. So if we say everybody should come to Lagos or go to Abuja, there won't be space for learning. So that's why we're creating those geopolitical zone schools that are close to where they reside.
Yeah. Now, if we go back to your personal business, you from a musician, a performing musician, you morphed into a consultant. What do you do now?
I still run it. I still run my promotion outfit. I still run my marketing communication firm. I have a technology firm. If you Google Go Create Africa, I'm the owner of Go Create Africa, so I still run my technology firm.
Go Trade Africa.
Go Create.
Go Create
Go
Africa.
Create. One action word. Go Create, like go and create.
Okay.
Go Create Africa.
Yeah.
I still run it. I still own a music distribution platform.
Okay.
Go Distro.
Okay.
So somebody say my hands are full. No, I'm still young, so
you're still busy.
Still busy. That's the word.
You're still busy. Now, your vision is driven by somewhat personal commitment on your part. You told me that your children are musicians too.
Yeah. Not only. At the time I came in together, I discovered that Sonny Age's children play guitar and they sing. Zaki's children play and they sing. Then back home, my daughter plays violin. She sings. My son plays keyboard. He sings. My second son is a vocalist. He sings like man. My last son plays drum. So now I am this kind of person that will not tell them what they should do.
That's the best thing.
No, I don't get involved because I had issue with my folks, and if I had listened to them, maybe I would have been a poor man. But I refuse listening. So I refuse listening to them. So I don't try to force my kids in whatever they are doing. So I just guide them. So the drive why we're able to get P-Man together is also to prove that what if these kids decide to be musicians? Mm-hmm. Are we going to leave this whole messed up structure, messed up industry for them? At one time, they might ask, Daddy, you used to be a P-Man member. What did you people do?
What did you do?
So you understand? So I'm trying to avoid that question. That's why we paid 120% attention to get P-Man working.
Okay. So, are you satisfied with what you're doing?
Satisfaction is understatement. Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I'm pleased with what we're doing, but there's opportunity of doing more. There's opportunity of getting it better because, like I said, Lagos is going to be Mecca for global music industry. We are running against the time. So the speed where Afrobeat has gotten to, we didn't know it was going to get there.
That fast.
Yeah, that fast. So we need to also keep the pace.
Yeah.
So we're doing more. There's opportunity of doing more. There's focus and consistency of doing more, and we're going to do more.
Yeah, because why I agree with you is that I was reading this song by CK, Love Wanted.
Love Wanted, yeah.
Right, that it's the first African song to achieve the 1 billion mark on Spotify.
Yeah. Never happened before.
No, you didn't say it, but that's unthinkable. That's unthinkable, you know.
So you understand what I'm saying? So you can imagine what these boys are doing. Now, the Americans and the Europeans, they are running after to catch up.
Yes.
Is that the word I'm using? Am I using the right word? We're so much on a speed that they are trying to catch up.
Yes.
You can see what Rema is doing around Asia.
Rema. Even CK, I heard that he played a concert in India and the whole place was filled.
Yes. Now,
and they were singing along.
They were singing along, but let me tell you, they are closing down stadiums that even the Americans couldn't do.
Yes.
So that's why back home we need to
be organized,
properly organized.
Yes.
We need to put all our thoughts and focus together. It's an opportunity to take over the world, both in music and in structure. So we need to work towards it.
Okay. Let me wish you the very best as you lead the team and you realize the vision that you have set for yourself. My guest has been Pretty Okafor, P-Man president, Pretty of Junior and Pretty. But more than that, he's an accomplished gentleman who sees a bright future for the performing musicians of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Pretty.
Thank you.
Nice
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Until we have another edition of the program, it's been Timeless Conversations. Have a good time.
It is not the hope of this feature to blame anyone for the never-ending tension between police and the citizens. However, it is certain that there is always a tension with most people when they approach a police checkpoint. Many factors are responsible for this tension, including not knowing what to expect or do, seeing the police as the enemy, or even being guilty of an infraction. Many issues that go wrong at a police checkpoint can be linked to lack of proper communication and understanding on the side of the police force and also on the side of the citizen. Here are some tips listed by the police force about comporting yourself at a police checkpoint. Endeavor to slow down your vehicle. It shows that you're not reckless. It also douses suspicion that you're a criminal and may want to speed off. Turn down the volume of your car stereo. Courtesy demands this. Besides, you are able to hear each other better. This simple act will help you win the confidence of the security operative. Keep your hands visible to avoid unnecessary suspicion or fear by the officers that you're attempting to bring out a gun or other harmful objects to attack them. Turn on the inner light of your vehicle while approaching the cops if at night. It readily sends an unspoken message that you have nothing to hide.
That's the nature of your job, officer. Don't worry. That's the nature of your Everything will be fine.
Be friendly and cheerful. Commend the officers, especially when you see them working under very unfriendly weather conditions such as rains and harsh Harmattan conditions, excessive heat, cold or sunshine. We know it's their job, but a little kind word from you will do a lot of good. Remember, when you smile at the mirror smiles back at you.
Officer will not come down. Let's see what you do. Don't mind this. We won't come down.
Endeavor to be polite when answering questions put to you by the officers. Don't dare or challenge an armed security man to a duel. Oftentimes, you hear people say things like, "Shoot me if you can." Note that this is a recipe for disaster. It is a very provocative and unnecessary call for war. So please, play safe, more so as you do not know the state of mind of the officer concerned. Also, don't go into a physical fight with an armed security officer. He may resort to the use of his weapon to defend himself. Avoid unnecessary arguments with armed security personnel. There are 1,001 ways to seek redress where you feel your rights have been infringed upon. Never try to touch an officer in an unfriendly manner. He may suspect you of trying to disarm him. If you're a regular traveler or road user, make sure you have the police emergency phone numbers of the route you operate. You never can tell when an emergency situation could arise and you need the police to come to your aid. Make sure you have all your relevant car papers and desist from actions or inactions that constitute either a criminal or traffic offense. Such infractions of the law provide a veritable grounds for possible charges and other forms of adversarial contact with the police or other law enforcement.
Good afternoon, I am Sade Uwe, and this is the news brief. The Federal High Court in Abuja has granted 100 million naira bail to each with two shorties to a former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, his daughter, and two others. They are being tried over an alleged fraud to the tune of 2.7 billion naira. According to the court, the shorties must have landed properties in Abuja and also responsible citizens. The shorties must depose to an affidavit of means, and the court also restricted the defendants from traveling abroad without its permission. Justice Origi ordered that the defendant should be remanded in prison custody if they fail to meet the bail conditions. The federal government has begun criminal proceedings against the Chinese firm SSL Industry Company Limited, its managing director Liu Qiang, director Shi Shuol, and the Nigerian accountant Babatunde Ayeni for alleged tax fraud. In a 4-count charge filed by the EFCC, SSL Industry, Qiang, Shuol, and Ayeni were alleged to have evaded the payment of the value-added tax estimated at 1.2 billion by falsifying audited account statements, income tax returns. The judge averred that the prosecution gave a similar excuse when the case last came up. He gave the prosecution the last chance to produce the defendants in court, failing which he threatened to give the appropriate order as prescribed by the law. Justice Eko said Njoku should suggest that a date that will be sufficient to enable the EFCC produce the defendants in court, and the lawyer suggested October 22, which the judge adopted. And while the Federal High Court in Asaba, Delta State has affirmed the authority of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and the EFCC to investigate and prosecute Delta State government officials accused of corruption. Justice Folashade Olubanjo ruled that the two organizations, despite having similar mandates, do not infringe upon the principles of federalism and separation of powers enshrined in the Constitution. The court's decision came in response to a lawsuit filed by the Attorney General of Delta State contesting the investigative powers of the anti-corruption agencies about the state government's financial affairs and the summoning of state officials for questioning during investigations. The state government had requested the court to declare that only the state government, State House of Assembly, and State Auditor General have the constitutional authority to oversee the funds allocated to Delta State in the Consolidated Revenue Fund or any other state public funds as outlined in the Constitution of Nigeria. The Rivers State House of Assembly has once again overridden Governor Siminalayi Fubara by merging the Rivers State's local government amendment laws of 2015, 2023, and 2024 into a single law. Following the consolidation, the lawmakers unanimously passed this unified law, and the purpose of this consolidation is to rectify any inconsistencies found in the individual amendments, such as the appointment process for the Local Government Commission Board and the remuneration of police school office holders at the local government level. During the plenary session, Speaker Martin Amewole emphasized that members should not be swayed by the governor's remarks, as he lacks the legal authority to declare their actions null and void.
Consolidate everything into one legislation, so that we can have one single document which stands as the Rivers State Local Government Law for 2024. This bill is also making provision for the creation of the Local Government Service Committee for every local government. This Local Government Service Committee, according to this bill, which we have just resolved in the Committee of the Whole, will have that responsibility of recommending to the Local Government Service Commission on a number of matters, including matters affecting staff of their local governments.
Common knowledge says that the existence of human beings is being created by God Almighty, and the existence of the Rivers State House of Assembly is enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, precisely section 4, subsection 6, 7. So, Mr. Speaker, I wonder why a sitting governor will go this far to make this unguided statement. I want to bring to the notice of this House that such statements are a plot for coup. I am very well displeased that the governor, without mixing words clearly, and was emphatically saying that he is putting it on record that the assembly is non-existent, arrogating powers to himself, arrogating the judicial powers to himself, declaring the assembly is non-existent. Mr. Speaker, is an aberration.
We must continue to perform this task. We must not be distracted by the antics of our detractors, particularly those who don't read the Constitution, We must continue to do our job, knowing fully well that what we are doing is in the best interest of Rivers State.
The political turmoil in Rivers State has taken a fresh turn as certain members of the Rivers State House of Assembly who support Governor Siminalayi Fubara have chosen Victor Oku-Jumbo, the representative of Bani constituency, as their speaker. Oku-Jumbo reported that the new speaker for the entire 32-member assembly was elected at 10 a.m. during the plenary session on Wednesday following the House's standing order. He was among the 4 legislators who remain loyal to Fubara amidst the state's political crisis. During the crisis, they initially elected Edison Ehie as the speaker, but he later resigned from the State Assembly and was appointed as the governor's chief of staff. The number of lawmakers present during the plenary that led to Oku-Jumbo's election as speaker remains unclear.
You will agree with me that after the House last sat on 13th of December 2023 and adjourned Synod, there has been an avalanche of legislative rascality perpetrated by the 25 former members of the 10th Rivers State House of Assembly, led by the former Speaker, Right Honorable Martins Chike Ameule. These former members, being fully aware of the provision of Section 1091 sub G of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressive Party, APC, and on 11th of December 2023, consequently, the Right Honorable Edison Ehie, on the 13th of December 2023, wrote to the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, declaring the seats of the 25 lawmakers vacant in line with Section 1091G and 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. Further, my distinguished colleagues, there are plethora of cases pending in our courts further to the defection of the former lawmakers. All laws, plenary sections, and actions taken by the illegal House are hereby declared void. The executive arm, the judiciary, and the general public are hereby called upon to disregard every purported laws enacted by the illegal assembly, as they all amount to nothing and they are exercised in futility.
The Rivers State chapter of the Association of Local Government of Nigeria has alleged that Governor Siminalayi Fubara is withholding funds designated for the 23 local government areas of the state. The association made this claim during a press conference in Port Harcourt, urging President Bola Tinubu to step in and urge the governor to release their April allocation. Olwell Iyonda, the chairman of the association and also the chairman of Port Harcourt City LGA, spoke on behalf of the LGA chairman, stating that Governor Fubara is intentionally avoiding holding the Joint Account Allocation Committee meeting in the state in order to deprive the third tier of the government of the necessary funds to carry out their duties.
Has neglected, failed, and deliberately refused to hold the statutory Joint Account Allocation Committee meeting, JAC, which is a prerequisite for the release and disbursement of funds due to the local governments in the State Joint Local Government Account, and has continued to withhold the statutory allocation due to the 23 local government councils of Rivers State since the month of April 2024, and in the case of Emohua since March 2024 till date for no just cause, thereby starving the third tier of government of the funds required to discharge its statutory functions in the administration of the local government areas. It has also come to our notice that the governor of Rivers State held a meeting with heads of local government administrations, head of personnel management, treasurers of local government, and other directors on Monday, the 6th day of May, 2024 in Government House, Port Harcourt, whereat he directed them to go and compile for presentation to him of the salary vouchers and overheads of civil servants, excluding chairmen, vice chairmen, councillors, and other political office holders for the various local governments, with a view to unlawfully dipping his hands into local government funds to pay staff salaries directly without involvement of the democratically elected local government council chairmen. We therefore call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the federal government to intervene by calling the governor of Rivers State to order with a view to avoiding breakdown of law and order in Rivers State.
Rivers State youth have refuted the accusation made against Governor Siminalayi Fubara regarding alleged arrears owed to the council chairman. Moreover, the youths have reaffirmed their steadfast support for Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the well-being of the state amidst the demand for his immediate removal by the state chapter.
A governor that loves the people who elected him. Each time Chief Tony Koda comes to incite Nigerians, especially Rivers people, against the governor. So as a youth, some youth of the state, we want to come to Tony Koda to immediately apologize to the governor of Rivers State. And let us state it, that no one man can impeach the governor because we voted for the governor of Rivers State. And as such, we must continue to protect the governor of Rivers State.
The People's Democratic Party has cautioned the All Progressives Congress against considering the impeachment of Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. PDP spokesperson Debo Ologun Agba issued the warning in response to the call made by Rivers State APC Chairman Tony Okocha for the State House of Assembly to impeach Fubara. Ologun Agba highlighted the subversive utterances of the APC chairman in Rivers State, which he believes could potentially lead to a crisis and disrupt the democratic order in the country.
The attention of the leadership of the People's Democratic Party has been drawn to a delusional declaration by the chairman of the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State, Mr. Tony Okocha, wherein he issued a hallucinatory directive that an impeachment proceedings be commenced against the democratically elected governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara. In any event, the individuals that the Rivers State APC chairman directed to commence impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara are not legally members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and cannot contemplate or exercise such powers under the law. The PDP therefore draws the attention of the Inspector General of Police to the subversive utterances of the APC chairman in Rivers State, which is capable of triggering crisis and derailing the democratic order in the country.
The Kaduna State government has disclosed plans to merge a total of 359 schools over incessant activities of bandits, which had resulted in cases of abduction and kidnapping in the state. Speaking at a stakeholders forum and the training of the Schools Protection Squad, Governor Uba Sani, represented by Chief of Staff Sani Kila, said the schools in vulnerable communities will be merged with those in safe locations as part of the measures to safeguard the schools and children from being attacked by bandits. According to him, the launched School Protection Squad under the federal government's Safe School initiative is aimed at securing schools, children and teachers from all forms of attacks by bandits and terrorists. While noting that Kaduna is one of the states that has been waging a sustained battle against banditry, terrorism, kidnapping and other forms of criminality, Kila lamented that the activities of non-state actors have disrupted socio-economic activities in the affected communities and are threatening the educational revitalization program of the state. The Dangote Group has donated 6,000 bags of 50 kg rice to vulnerable groups in Osun State to cushion the effect of economic hardship on the people of the state. So Dangote rice palliatives was sent to all local government areas across the state for distribution to vulnerable people, including the street beggars, Okada riders, retirees, and the unemployed, as well as widows and widowers. The rice was distributed to mosques, churches, Hausa, Fulani, Igbo communities and other vulnerable groups in the state. The president of Osun State Muslim Community, Alhaji Mustafa Olawuyi, who supervised the distribution, charged all the wealthy Nigerians to emulate Alhaji Aliko Dangote and assist the poor. Beneficiaries and community leaders expressed gratitude to Alhaji Aliko Dangote for the gesture.
The food is meant to cushion the effect of hunger in the country. And that's why you are seeing people from all nooks and crannies of the state. But if you go inside into our store, you will see that those people are still coming. They are still coming to pick what they have here. We have been here for the past 3 weeks trying to collect, right from Kano. You can thank Dangote and thank Allah for that. So that is the essence. You can see that even here, there is peace because they know that this has gone to every nook and cranny of Osun State here. The distribution is fair. No area is not connected on this issue, and that is why you can, if you stay here longer than now, you will see that other vehicles will be coming in, or will hire other vehicles to go and deliver at the appropriate sites. So this is Dangote Group is doing the magic. Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless them and bless every one of us. Thank you.
We need to commend the effort of Alhaji Dangote by taking this type of step, by assisting people to benefit from his wealth. We need to encourage other people to take this kind of step to relieve people, to relieve